Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options to Play video update. Uh, Earnings season finally is upon us. This week, we get the start to the third quarter earnings, and banks will be the primary focus because, I mean, as usual, they kind of get things going. And we will probably start to build momentum throughout the week in terms of like schedule news. Um, right now, Monday, there's actually nothing scheduled like company earnings wise. At this point of the quarter, you can start to see some like unscheduled news, but things kind of start off a little bit slower. Tuesday is really when the action gets going, and that's the day you have Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. Goldman's pricing in about 13 and a half. And then JP Morgan is pricing in about 4.5. All right. So the banks to me are tough. If you've been listening on the VTF the last couple of days, you've kind of heard my opinion on this. But I mean, the action trading wise has been pretty lousy. And it's for a couple reasons. You had the executives come out, or some of the executives come out recently and warn about a slowdown in trading revenues. So that hasn't helped. Also, the rates moving really sharply lower since the FOMC meeting in June. That has not helped. I mean, Goldman, Morgan Stanley, to me, those have fared slightly better than like the big money center names, say like JP Morgan or Bank of America, Citi, Wells Fargo. So if I was to trade any of the banks, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be putting on like new option trades for the banks, but it would probably be like Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley even versus like JP, Bank of America, Citi, or Wells. Um, I just I don't know if I have the conviction to do it. Last quarter on earnings, the stocks really didn't act great. They haven't been acting great for the last like 2 months or month and a half. I mean, there's a lot of mixed action, a lot of like choppy charts, and I mean, looking at the option pricing, Goldman Sachs is 13.5. Doesn't really seem low to me. J.P. Morgan at 4.5 doesn't really seem low to me. So overall, like I'm very mixed on this group, and I mean, it might be one of these scenarios where I just wait until after they all report, see where the stocks are, and then maybe open up a swing trade for like a week, 2 week, 3 weeks, a month out, right? So earnings wise, I'm very, very mixed. I don't have like a clear direction, don't have a clear opinion on how I want to approach it. And I know that they're going to be in focus, but I also don't really have a lot of conviction with that sector right now. All right. So that's kind of where I stand. After the bell on Tuesday, there's really nothing of interest. Before the open on Wednesday, so Bank of America, more of the banks here. Bank of America, it's pricing in about $1.40. And the thing you'll notice with a lot of these charts is that they're all very similar. Like Goldman and Morgan leaders, Bank of America, JP, and Wells kind of in the same area, and then Citi, which is priced in about 2.5, has been lagging the most. So maybe that one could be more volatile than the others, just because it's been more volatile over the last month. Um, and then Wells Fargo, which is priced in about 2. But you can see the charts for the most part look pretty similar. A lot of the stocks have been acting the same. Citi is probably the worst of the group, and then I'd say maybe Morgan Stanley probably acts the best. All right, but same idea as Goldman and JP. I mean, might just ride it out, see what they say, and then go from there. Also, Wednesday before the open, Delta, so about 2 points is what they're looking for in this one. Airlines, they've been out of place since last quarter. Delta is at its lowest level since February. Just hit the 200-day actually this week. Um, I feel like it's going to take more than one good report to really get momentum back in here. And the setup doesn't look so great, so I'll probably hold off trading this one too. It will say though that it could set the tone for the sector if it's solid, and that could get some things moving around. But that's going to be more of like a wait and see because I want to see how the numbers look. I want to see how the stock reacts, and then maybe we can like look at something like UAL or AAL as like a sympathy play. After the close on Wednesday, nothing scheduled before the open on Thursday. So Morgan Stanley, which kind of wraps up a lot of the big names that week. On the financial side, the price in the 3.5 points. And by Thursday, I mean, it's probably going to be a pretty good idea of what to expect. So I'm not sure much movement you're going to get out of Morgan Stanley. But I will say that this is usually a go-to bank for me though, trading wise, and it's one of my favorites to day trade and also like swing trade. So I'll probably be keeping an eye on that one. Taiwan Semi, so big tech report. Actually, they're really the only tech report next week. The price in about 4.5 points. Biggest semi by market cap, and they actually just on Friday morning they announced June sales, which were pretty solid. I thought this was a pretty good setup for a run into the print, but the stock keeps stalling at this 120, 121 area, so you have to see where it is by Thursday next week because, I mean, this is a coiled pattern, and I feel like if it can get through 121, it could really be due for a move. If it stays here, maybe there's an earnings trade. If it starts to take off, maybe less so. So, kind of have to wait and see where it is at the time. But option pricing isn't cheap, so I think like my focus would be either just on like spec bull ideas or um, maybe I'd have to get risk down if I was thinking both ways because at 4.5 it seems a little bit higher. UNH, so also Thursday before the open, another big name. This one in healthcare. The price in at about 12 points. I think this has a really nice setup for a ramp into the report. Strong sector, has a history of strong results, acting well technically, just moved some resistance, right? Starting to build momentum out of this lower range. So we're going to have to see where this one is also. Because if it really starts to take off ahead of its report, then it probably is not going to be a huge trade into the earnings release. But um, you know, historically, it does actually tend to move on earnings. Although I guess the last couple of quarters it's been a little bit less volatile in earnings. But definitely one of the big names. Looks pretty good. Has a pretty strong history of good results. So this is one where I was thinking maybe might make a run ahead of time. After the close on Thursday, Alcoa. So they're priced in at about 280. Value plays, they haven't been great recently. They had a really nice Friday, big rebound. Um, I will say among the value plays that the metals and the metal miners have hung in better. And Alcoa is still in the monthly uptrend, and this could set up a swing trade if the numbers are good and the stock can kind of respond well. Because this has been so like this and Cleveland Cliffs and U.S. Steel. They've been like FCX is another one. They've been like the group that we've been looking at for swing trades over the last few months. So I'd like to see like a solid number. I want to see the stock act well, and then maybe that sets up like a swing trade after. Friday before the open, KSU. So they're priced in at about 10 or 11 points, and the stock is in the process of getting bought out. But what happened was this week is that Biden said he was targeting railroad deals with an executive order. So that's what knocked it lower. I don't know if earnings are going to be relevant to the story because I mean it's moving off of those executive order headlines, but it could be pretty volatile if there is an update on that merger. So this one's maybe more speculative, but if the option pricing comes down, maybe this is something to take a look at on Friday. Just if the company does give an update about the merger process and how that order might affect it. All right, that's it. So some big names. Earnings season's going to get going. I'm expecting unscheduled news like preliminary guidance. So I think it's going to be busy. Looking forward to a lot of good action, and I'm just settling in for a busy earnings season. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information on trading earnings with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options and play. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay well, and I will talk to you on Monday.